What he's doing is basically making up a tale. He's saying to Sonny, when I get off the phone from you, I'm going to ring Daniel and I'm going to confront him. And, I meant to ring Daniel before I got on the phone to you, but I somehow misdialed. But I'm going to confront him about him saying that he was searching through the woods for all those weeks. I can guarantee he had absolutely no plan whatsoever of doing this. This is just another manipulation tactic that Derwood was using, trying to give validity to his claims by saying, here's my claim and now I'm going to action it, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to provide you receipts for it, but you're supposed to believe me because I'm telling you I'm going to action this claim now. If I am going to be confronting Daniel, that proves to you that actually, I'm a good guy, and everything I've just told you where I believe that Daniel is responsible, all that is true because now I'm going to action it. It was like when he was talking about, I think, Janie's statements or something, and he said the receipts for that are the statements that will be made in court or something ridiculous like that, which basically are not receipts at all because obviously he's not producing them. But he uses this manipulation strategy. If I can convince you that, other people are involved in this whole story, and I'm describing the action that's occurring, did occur, will occur, then this is going to make it more believable. He talks about meeting this person and chatting with that person. He almost convinced Malaya to meet with him, but then her family stepped in and told her not to. It's all about manipulating the listener, trying to give validity to his claims by claiming action or claiming the involvement of another person in a way that still can't be verified. So with that said, let's just jump straight in.
I'm calling Daniel, and I'm going to press him a little bit because that's exactly what I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him, okay, Daniel, you've told me half a dozen times that Janie caught Malaya on the side of the road, and you're so sure that she had taken those kids out, put them in a vehicle, and they were getting shipped down the road, and that Janie just about caught it. And that's what you're telling me happened, that Malaya shipped those kids down the road. Mm-hmm. Well, if Malaya shipped, and I'm going to confront him hard on it now.
Yeah.
I'm going to confront him and say, okay, Daniel, I want you to explain to me, if those kids got shipped down the road in a vehicle and you caught it happening, why the f*** were you searching the woods?
Right.
Ahead of the helicopters and water up to your waist and screaming and you lost your voice. And explain that to me. And then I think he's going to get pretty dirty at me. Because he has the ability.
Right.
He has the ability to get very...
You can see it.
Dirty.
You can see it. You can see it.
I've seen it twice, yeah.
So here's this story of I'm going to ring Daniel and I'm going to confront him. And I'm going to confront him hard. Because obviously in Derwood's mind, if you make it sound even more dramatic, it must be real. But it's also that whole thing of, look how passionate I am about this. This means I'm being truthful. This means I am going to do this. And this shows you that I really am now changing sides. And I really am just trying to get the truth out of Daniel to clear Malaya's name and find the children and all this dramatic stuff that Derwood thinks he's doing. Or probably doesn't think he's doing. Because at the end of the day, I do believe that his main motivation here is to stand up for Daniel, clear Daniel for some reason, and I do feel that he may well have a stake in this game. Now, here's where he says that he thinks Daniel's going to get pretty dirty because he's got the ability. And he says, I've seen it twice. Now, what he's doing here is throwing in a little bit of truth that he knows people are going to be aware of. Most people have figured out, even back then, I think, it was pretty clear that Daniel had anger issues. And I would imagine that he's figured out that Sonny is aware of this. So he's throwing in that one little nugget of truth to stack his lies. And he's stacking his lies to try and convince his audience, who at the time was Sunny, that he's being truthful. It's that false logic of the first thing I'm going to tell you is that I am going to phone Daniel and I am going to confront him. Now I'm going to tell you that he's going to become annoyed with me. He's going to become dirty when I confront him. That bit has got a little bit of truth thrown in because, like I said, we know Daniel does have anger issues, and I have no doubt that Derwood is fully aware of Daniel's personality. He's already said things in this phone call that shows that even though he's defending Daniel, he knows exactly what Daniel is like. So he throws in this little nugget of truth that Daniel is the sort of person that does get dirty. But what he's trying to do here is saying, Daniel's going to get dirty. This proves that I am going to make this phone call. Because I'm saying I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. But we know from all the other audio that here he's just running with this one story. So Daniel's not going to get dirty with him because he's not going to make the phone call. But he has given us this little nugget that, yes, Daniel has the ability to get very, very dirty. And we have seen that from Daniel's own texts, from messages that Malaya has made, and even from things in the documents. Not only that, we know he's got anger issues. We've seen there was a Globe and Mail article, I believe it was, that said that he was having to do anger management courses. And this is connected with the CPS stuff, so yes, Derwood would know this. We also know there is that CPS involvement with Lily and Jack's case because Daniel would become violent with them. So he's throwing in this little nugget of information to make the rest of what he's saying sound truthful. We're supposed to believe that he is going to confront Daniel and Daniel is going to become aggravated because that is part of Daniel's personality. And of course this is meant to prove to us that what Derwood is saying in this whole conversation in terms of that all along he knew that Daniel was responsible and he was just playing the game, only pretending to defend Daniel. So, hey, please don't arrest me because now you've got all this on record on a phone call. But another thing I've noticed with Derwood is when he's telling these tall tales, when he's making up things that he says he's going to do or things that haven't happened, he gets this kind of eagerness to his tone. And you know, straight out, just from the tone of his voice, the way he's speaking, the tempo of how he's speaking, that this is a load of BS. He's giving away what he knows in terms of Daniel, in terms of the case, in terms of Daniel's personality. Not because he's trying to give this information and say, hey, look at me, I'm truly doing the right thing here. No, it's because this is his alibi. This whole phone call is his alibi. So that down the track, when the RCMP do go after him for obstructing an investigation, he thinks that he's using Sunny here as his alibi. That's all this is, purely and simply. He thinks that he's pegged Sunny as being someone who probably is trustworthy enough that he can give her some of these little truths in connection to the case without giving her any solid details, and that she will keep it quiet, won't put it out publicly, so that he can continue standing up for Daniel, he can continue threatening anyone that questions his narrative, he can continue pushing his narrative about the children being abducted, knowing that he's got this little safety valve that he's put in place now.